Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you this beautiful new design of motor mount that moby-cool.shield has. This is an all-aluminum motor mount rated to up to 250 horsepower. And before I show you some details, let me give you some measurements. Using my tape here, it's 30 inches long from here to here. It is 16 inches wide at the motor mount from here to here. It is 14 inches high from the bottom to the top of the box. And it's 26 inches wide from side to side. And this mount here is 16 and a half inches. So there you have it. It's 16 inches high at the motor mount, 16 and a half by 16 wide. It's 14 inches high, the box. It is 16 inches wide, side to side. And it's 26 inches wide. This flange is, mounting flange is 26 inches wide. Each one of these is about 5 inches. These are 5 inches protruding here with half-inch aluminum gussets welded in. Now what I'm introducing here is an over-the-hole motor mount. A lot of you are converting houseboats and speedboats and runabouts and so forth to over a single engine inboard-outboard conversion. And this is ideal for that because once you block up your hole and fiberglass your hole in, this is actually wide enough, this flange is wide enough to go completely over the hole so that you don't have to put any stress in immediately at the hole location. Some of our earlier motor mounts, most of them in fact, are designed to go over the hole, but they're pretty narrow, and they don't spread that load out far enough away from the hole. This one does. This is 26 inches wide, well wide enough to go over the hole and still get 3 bolts on each side. You'd put a bolt, let me show you. You'd put a bolt here and here, 2 at the top on each side, and at least 1 at the bottom. Wouldn't hurt to have 4 on each side, 2 at the top, 1 in the center, and 1 at the bottom to spread the load. This one has a custom cap on it. It comes that way. We just cut a square hole in the top of it and we make our own plat, or our factory does. So you don't have to go out and buy a cover, the round cover that is typical of the older units that we used to make. Now we still make the plain unit without the wide body on this flange. But this one is so nice because it eliminates so much difficulty in mounting this directly over the hole after you have your hole filled in and fiberglassed in, because this reaches out so far beyond the hole on either side that it allows you to cover that hole and put the stresses out away from the original opening where your inboard-outboard outdrive protruded from the vessel. Now I'll show you the inside gusset area here. You can see this has 3 half-inch gussets. They're beautifully welded in. Our factory does a superb job, and they do a great job. It has a half-inch gussets here at the top. Now once in a while these get a little bit in the way of the steering, and you might have to mount your steering just a little further away from the platform, but most of the time they're just out of the way. As I said before, the mounting plate itself is 16. Here, I'll measure it again for you. Sorry about the bouncy camera thing here. But it's about 16 3/4 by 16 3/4 by 16 wide. That's plenty big for almost all the engines out there that are made. This is the moby-cool over-the-hole conversion motor mount. It's called a moby-cool over-the-hole conversion motor mount. designed to actually go over the outdrive hole Now it won't seal that hole up. You do need to seal your old outdrive hole up. But once you got that outdrive hole sealed up and fiberglassed in, then if you mount these really super wide flanges, this is 26 inches wide, you'll be able to utilize this over the hole right in the center of the ship, right where your outdrive came out. You may want to raise it up or down depending on where your motor falls. And remember, the cavitation plate on your motor should be 1/2 to 1 inch below the bottom of the boat when the motor's on the motor mount and the motor mount is on the boat. Remember that. I'll say it again. The cavitation plate, the large cavitation plate above the propeller, should be 1/2 to 1 inch below the bottom of the boat when the motor is mounted to the motor mount and the motor mount is mounted to the boat. And the best way to fit these motor mounts, of course, is just to use a couple of sawhorses to line them up to your boat, shim them into place, do your borings. Try to do your borings at the same time. That is through the mount and the hull at the same time. Good thing to put your bolts in as you go along using PL 5200, which is the only thing we recommend for sealing below the waterline in these applications, because it's really hard to bore holes measured identical one from the mount back to the boat. That's a very difficult operation to do, and often those holes have to be wallowed out a little in the boat to make them fit. Again, this is a moby-cool.shield over the hole motor mount, and it's designed for motors up to 250 horsepower. I'm going to close in onto this, turn this just a little bit, and I'm going to show you this hatch cover. You can see it's got a relief on it, a beautiful workmanship relief here. Each one of these holes is already tapped for stainless steel screws. Slide right down over the top. The holes are already bored and tapped for each one of these. So you PL 5200 this in place after you bolt your motor to the motor mount. Screw it down, wipe it off, and you're good to go. Well, it's been great to talk to you, and while we're talking to you, let me just remind you that moby-cool.com is the manufacturer of Prop Glop. Prop Glop is an anti-barnacle repellent, essentially a anti-fouling material that you put on your prop rudders and shaft while your boat is still in the water. We're the patent holder, and we're the only manufacturer in the world that makes Prop Glop. Prop Glop is the world's most trusted name in underwater anti-fouling applications for propellers and running gear. So you get a chance to try this. It's $29.95 a tube, which will cover about a 30 by 30 prop, shaft, and the rudder that goes along with it, with a little left over for touch-ups. It lasts between 90 and 100 days. Particularly great when you have your boat parked for a long time, but it's also pretty good for ordinary use vessels. It is a leach style product made to leach in your prop rudders and shafts. The carrying agent doesn't have to stay there. Once it's been there for a few days, the active ingredients have soaked into the metals, paints, and primers, and that's how it works.